Hi there and welcome to this week's edition of Top End Track Talk. I'm Andrew O'Toole and today we'll be previewing day 3 of the Great Northern Darwin Cup Carnival, which is Ridges Palmerston Ladies' Day, the 16th of July. Another top shelf card has been assembled for Wednesday with a 6-race card featuring both the $50,000 Palmerston Ridges Cup and the $36,500 Fusion Exhibitions Rose Bowl. The first of the half dozen gets underway at the later time of 2:09 p.m, with the last, the Cup, time to go at 5:10 p.m. In the first, the Better Sprint, or the Better Sprint, an average benchmark 69 event over 1,100 metres. My numbers are 4, 3 and 1. Tricky little race to start the card, I thought, but I went with number 4, Forms of Fear, trained by Tayan Holter. Paul Shires takes them out. He rode last time when this horse finished 4th behind Flying Annie. He's 3rd up here. I think he's just about ready to put his foot right on the till, and most importantly, he's drawn the inside gate. Paul Shires, of course, in great form. He won the Chief Ministers here on Saturday aboard Hadouken, and I'm sure he'll give Forms of Fear every possible chance. So 4 on top for me, ahead of 3, Zurata, Dakota Gillette for Peter Roble. Peter, of course, trains Hadouken, who won the Chief Ministers. He's also got Stormfront in later in the day in the Ridges Cup. And Zurata won 2 races in Alice Springs over sprint trips, and then last time out here, he finished a very good 3rd behind Lumber Punk. He led on that occasion, just got pressure the whole way and kept going strongly, and I think he'll race well again. And in for 3rd, well, it's D-Day for number 1, Field of Flutes. His last 2 efforts have been disappointing, one in Alice Springs and then here on the 5th of July behind stablemate Flying Annie. He bungled the start, he got back in the field, he raced terribly ungenerously with the kickback. So this is a big test for Field of Flutes. He's capable and he's talented. Jared Todd for Gary Clark. He's got to be allowed one more chance. Numbers in the first are 4, 3 and 1. The second's the Better Handicap. Over the 1,100 metres for the 0 to 66 gallopers. Numbers here are 3, 7 and 8. Talliers for me, I think one of the better bets of the day, trained by Kerry Petrick and Paul Denton in the saddle. Bought out of the Alice Springs sale just in early April and has done everything right in 2 starts since. It was 2nd and just beaten the nose first up here by Down the Wicket. And then the other day when he drew 10, he was had a hard run throughout off the track and finished a very meritorious 4th, I thought, behind Limited Risk. Draws better this time, barrier 4. I think that's the key. And Paul Denton takes them out for KP. And I think Talliers will get his just desserts here in the second. 3 on top. To beat a newcomer, number 7, Sun Tzu, trained by Chris Nash, and Dakota Gillette rides. Dakota rode this horse in a trial last week and he trialled really well, I thought, in beating Kangaroo Court. Formerly trained by Matty Sears in South Australia and now in Nash's stable. And I thought on his best form, Sun Tzu, he could give this a shake. And then for 3rd, number 8, Luna Field. He's done everything right his last 2. They're both winning efforts in 0 to 58 grade. Goes up in grade here. Neil Dyer trains. Jess Booth takes them out. She's been aboard the last couple of wins and he's sure to race well again. Numbers in the second are 3, 7 and 8. We go to the 3rd. It's the Ridges Palmerston Handicap. Over 1,300 metres, and this for the 0 to 62 gallopers. Numbers here, 3, 4 and 10. Number 3, Mr Marrakesh. He was very impressive winning here on the 14th of June, so he hasn't had a run for a month. His biggest disadvantage this time is he's drawn 10. Last time when he won here, he drew 1. Now, if Adam Nichols can overcome that aboard Mr Marrakesh, he was so impressive last time, he'll be very hard to beat again. He is stepping up in grade. It was a 58 last time, up to a 62 here. But I'm going with him, number 3, to beat 4, Dummy Spit, Sonia Logan. Sonia's having a great run at the present time. She leads the Carnival Premiership after the first 2 days with 4 wins. She had a double last Saturday. She had a double in Alice Springs on Sunday and is really in good form, Sonia. Takes them out here for Andrew Purdon. This horse has had 3 runs in Darwin this campaign. His last 2 have been excellent seconds behind Luna Field and Kessler. And he's had a little break or a fortnight between runs, and I think he'll be very hard to beat, number 4. And in for 3rd, we go over the page, and that is number 10, To The Point, trained by Chloe Baxter, of course. Jason Lyon in good form with a double last week. He takes them out here. This horse hasn't had much luck this campaign with a 3rd and a 4th placing. He's drawn good this time, barrier 4. His last couple of runs he drew out. And if things go right and he gets all the breaks, he'll be right in the finish, number 10, To The Point. So numbers in the 3rd are 3, 4 and 10. We go to the 4th, the Fusion Exhibitions Rose Bowl, the first of our 2 features on the day. This for the fillies and mares over 1,300 metres, and it's a 0 to 70. Numbers here, 3, 8, 12 and 1. Going with number 3, Juice Box. Tom Logan trained. Sonia in the saddle again. This horse was a really tough winner at its first Darwin start. That was the 5th of July, so a fortnight ago in the lead up to the Fillies and Mares race. And I thought its performance was great because it had only come off the truck about 5 or 6 days prior from South. Sure to be improved for that first up run on the track, and I'm going for it to win again. Number 3, Juice Box. Ahead of last year's winner in this event, number 8, Lucky Fortuna, from the Heather and Graham Lehman team. Drawn a decent gate this time. Its last couple of runs drawn okay, middle gates, but I thought with a good draw this time, Jared Todd aboard could be very hard to beat in looking to go back to back. In for third, liking the 3-year-old filly in Rossonado, won its maiden here really impressively over this trip back on the 28th of June. Paul Shires trains and rides, and Paul wouldn't be running it in this if he didn't give it a real good chance because she is only a 3-year-old filly, lightly raced, but I think she'll give him a real shake. Number 12, Rossonado, and in for fourth, number 1, Princess Pancakes. Fresh up, hasn't had a run since the 3rd of May, so some 10 weeks between runs. Kerry Petrick and Paul Dent in the combo. This horse won its last start on the 3rd of May in Alice Springs and should give a real sight here. Numbers in race 4, 3, 8, 12 and 1. We go to the 5th, the Chris Williams Jewelers Handicap. We now also move to the 1600 metre barrier for the last 2 races. This is a Class 2 and my numbers here are 1, 2 and 5. Ground Rush for me, the top weight for Ella Clark and Jared Todd. Has had 2 runs in Darwin over 12 and 1300. Finished 5th and 6th behind Lochlorien and Tannenberg. And back to Class 2, I think, is really in its favour. Its run behind Tannenberg was beaten a good distance on that occasion, 9.6 lengths, but that was a 0 to 76. Way back in grade here. I think it'll be ready now. It's getting out to 1600 metres. So number 1 for me to beat the obvious danger, number 2, Frankfurt. Jessica Booth for Kev Lamprick. Its last run was only so-so, I thought, over a mile. Its previous start was really good, over 1200 metres, but just forget that last start effort. Not much went right, so giving it another chance here, number 2, Frankfurt. And in for third, number 5, Hollaby Baby. Jason Lyon for Dick Leach, drawn the inside gate. Last start 5th behind Rossonado. I thought was good. Rossonado, I think, is a filly with a real future. So if Rossonado comes out and goes a good race in the Rose Bowl, you can have $1 on Hollaby Baby with confidence. Numbers in race 5 are 1, 2 and 5. And the last is our feature, the Palmerston Ridges Cup. 50,000 up for grabs plus trophies, 1600 metres, 0 to 76. And of course, the winner of this, ballot exempt from the metric mile on Saturday week. And it's a really good field this year, the Palmerston Ridges Cup. Numbers here, 8, 9, 7 and 2. I'm going with number 8, Stormfront, for Peter Roble and Jade Hampson. It's had 2 starts in Darwin. First up over the 1300 metres behind Galaxy General, and then absolutely bolted in here last time over this trip of a mile. Beating Pink Panther, who's a rival again, and it just won so impressively. I think it'll do it again. Number 8, Stormfront on top for me. Ahead of 9, Magic Defence, Kerry Petrick and Paul Dent in the combo. This horse ran second to Great Buy in one of the divisions of the Rowan Cup on the 28th of June. I thought that was an excellent performance, first start on the track, and should have come on for that. And stepping up to the mile won't worry Magic Defence. In for third, number 7, Pink Panther. He's racing well, good second to Stormfront. Last time he led on that occasion, and he'll probably go forward again from barrier 5 for JT and Gary Clark. And in for fourth, another of the Clark train runners, Siakam. Christo Sardelic takes the mount here. He was third to Cinquetori in the Rowan Cup, the record Rowan Cup that Cinquetori won here on the 28th of June, and the start prior finished fourth to the same horse in another slick time, so he's racing well. Numbers in the last, 8, 9, 7 and 2. Best bet in the day is in race 6, number 8, Stormfront. I think he'll take a lot of beating. He looks a really promising 4-year-old. Only recently joined the stable of Pete Roble, and Pete's had 2 runners so far during the first 2 days of the carnival for 2 wins, so his team is going well. Race 6, number 8, Stormfront, best of the day. Well, the best each way hope, couldn't really find a roughie that I liked, so we'll go the best each way hope. Race 2, number 3, Talez. Race 2, number 3, Talez. Well, that wraps up this edition of Top End Track Talk. We'll be back again later this week. So a couple of track talks this week. That's to preview the 4th day of the Great Northern Darwin Cup Carnival, which of course is Ladbrokes NT Derby Day. That will be run on Saturday, the 19th of July. Carnival certainly flying by. This time next week we'll be halfway through. And until next time, good luck and good punting.